Mid-power e-bikes are everywhere at the moment, but what is the point of them and are they any good? Given that they don't have the power or the battery capacity of a full-fat e-bike, the knee-jerk reaction would be no. But while they might not win a game of e-bike top trumps, they do have some pretty significant advantages that only really become apparent when you ride them. So in this video, I'm going to go for a spin on the new Scott Voltage, run through some of the benefits of this kind of e-bike and explain who they're aimed at. Before we go any further, a big thanks to our sponsor Scott for helping us to make this video. First off, let's deal with the elephant in the room. Why should riders go for e-bikes with less power and less battery? Surely more power and more battery is better. As always, it's not quite that simple. An e-bike with a massive battery and huge power will be great in certain situations. Say for example, you're doing a big day in the hills and you want a bike to winch you up the climbs with as little effort as possible. But that comes with a trade-off, and there's no denying that full-fat e-bikes feel clumsy and cumbersome compared to an analog bike, diluting the sensations that made us fall in love with mountain biking in the first place. Bikes like Scott's Voltage and Lumen aim to reconnect us with those endorphins by reinvigorating and re-energizing the ride experience, while also giving us the power to climb faster and really maximize our time in the saddle. Where the Voltage is aimed more at trail and all mountain riding, and the minimal Lumen is designed to go fast on smoother XC terrain. They don't have the all-singing, all-dancing power and range of a big bike, but they are much lighter, making the ride experience much closer to that of an analog bike. And despite this, there's enough power on tap to get you to the top of most climbs without ending up in a wheezing, sweaty mess. That power is delivered in a much more natural way than a big e-bike. If you stomp on the pedals, you will get more assistance, but without the jolt of a full-fat motor. Instead of overpowering your effort, the motor complements and encourages it. Mid-power e-bikes are also much quieter, so you can spend more time enjoying the sounds around you rather than the whir of the motor. The Scott Voltage, for example, has the TQ HPR 50, which is almost imperceptible from a visual and an aural perspective. See another rider on the trail and they'll struggle to tell you're getting any assistance. So silent is the motor and stealthy is the Voltage's packaging that it's only when you've breezed past that the penny will drop. The real benefit of these bikes, and what makes me such a fan, is how close they feel to riding a regular analog bike. Meaning you get all the fun and feedback of a regular bike going down the hill, but you still get that addictive payback in extra descents. If you've got a full-fat e-bike or you've ridden one, you'll know that they're amazingly capable and confidence-inspiring when the trail is fast and rough as old boots. But on smooth, flowing single track, they can be intensely frustrating. Over 25 kilometers an hour when the engine cuts out. The extra weight and friction in the system makes it feel like you've hit an invisible brick wall. Not so on bikes like the Voltage. So at a trail centre like this one, where the descents are gradual and it feels good to top up your speed with a few pedal strokes, you can break through the speed limiter and amp up the thrills without suffering the sensation that you're pedaling through treacle. So how do brands like Scott create the lightweight system found on bikes like the Voltage and the Lumen? It starts with the motor, and the Voltage features the smallest and lightest on the market. It's called the TQ HPR 50 and it boasts 50 Newton meters of torque and 300 watts of peak power from a unit that fits in the palm of your hand. It weighs just 1.85 kilos and features a non-removable 360 watt-hour battery. In fact, the TQ motor and battery is so small that Scott have been able to hide the whole system inside the frame. One aspect where Scott offers something really unique is the suspension design. As you can't see, the shock is completely hidden inside the frame. The main advantage of that system is that it keeps the shock hidden from all that nasty dirt and grime that we're so used to here in the UK, and yet it still dishes out 155 millimeters of travel. Scott also says it helps make the frame lighter because there's more carbon material in this zone, so it doesn't need to go adding weight and reinforcing other areas. Crucially, it means there's space for 2 water bottles as well, which gives you the option to run Scott's 160 watt-hour range extender, which sits neatly where one of the bottles would go. Elsewhere, you'll find many of the features found on Scott's analogue bikes. There's an adjustable headset up front with drop-in cups giving 3 angles of 63.9, 64.5 and 64.9 degrees. Depending on what spec you look at, the Voltage also gets a version of Scott's remote geometry and travel adjustment system. On the E-Ride 900 tuned model, you get track lock, and on every other model, you get twin lock. Track lock is connected only to the shock and gives you 3 different modes: descend, ramp and control, which optimize the bike for descending or climbing. With twin lock, both the fork and shock are hooked up to the system, with the third position offering a very firm mode that almost feels locked out, making it perfect for asphalt climbs. Let's talk about which of Scott's mid-power e-bikes could be for you. If you're a trail rider looking for something you can take on gnarly, steep and technical descents, the Voltage would be the way to go. With its capable components, adjustable settings and trail-focused geometry, it's the model I'd argue most riders are going to lean towards. However, if you ride smoother trails and don't need all of that travel, the Lumen has the pace of an XC bike and the climbing ability of Nino Schurter. And it has the same discrete TQ motor as the Voltage, but weighs as little as 15.6 kilos. So there you have it. There's no doubt mid-power e-bikes are here to stay, and hopefully you can see why they're gaining in popularity on the trails. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to check out the links in the video description if you want to find out more information about the Voltage and the Lumen.